Welcome back to Go For Side Effects. I'm your host, Kevin Simon. Tonight, I got a special guest. His name is Conner McLeod. He is from my ship, the USS San Jose, and we're going to talk about the problems he's going through, and we're also going to do a little bit of reminiscing, and so that way y'all can understand what it was kind of like to be on board of a ship.
Hello.
Well, how are you doing today, Conner?
Good, brother. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Well, welcome to the program of Go For Side Effects. So, how you been today?
Oh, great, man. Great.
That's good. That's good. Hey,
You?
so we're going to do a little bit. I'm going to run the program a little bit different tonight because number one, I know you very well, and number two, I I think I want to have a little bit more fun with the program as far as me and you reminiscing about our time on the San Jose. So first off, I know you're having problems with like fibromyalgia, neuropathy, and your digestive system, like I have.
Yeah, not so much the digestive system, but yeah, I'm having some nerve issues. A lot of nerve issues.
Well, what's going on with your nerve issues?
Well, I've got degenerative disc disease in my spine. I've got some nerve compression, and my nerves seem to be, I don't know, it's weird. It's like I get these pins and needle pains in my hands and feet all the time. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have the
Yeah.
exact same thing. But
And then it's like I feel like my neck, it's like my muscles stuff. It's weird. It's like it feels like it's deteriorating.
right, right. Yeah, a lot of the guys that there's a lot of Go For pages out there, like on Facebook, that talk about Go For illness and everything. And that's one of the reasons I wanted you on here, because I wanted everybody to kind of understand that the stuff that I'm going through, y'all are going through too. The only difference is mine started earlier than most people's.
Right.
Mine started right after the Go For, and
Right.
I mean, I think you can kind of remember whenever I had them nice kidney stones.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh, I'll remember that like it was yesterday.
Well, how could you not, man? It dropped you like a stone. They talk about passing a stone, man. You was laying on that deck faster than I could shake a stick.
Well,
But we were just, yeah, I never forget it either. We were just having a conversation, walking down the passageway. Doodly doo. Yeah, and I said something. Hey, Kevin, and you didn't answer. And I turned around, and there he was, doubled over on the ground, on the deck, just curled up like a baby, going, "Oh, white as a ghost." I went, we need to get him help now. Jesus.
well, the worst part was after she finally was able to get me to stand up straight, and I was begging her for a knife, whatever it was, to cut it out of me. She she was like, "Oh, it's a kidney stone." I was like, "A kidney stone? What the heck is that?" And so
You're
she's
like,
telling me,
no,
"Yeah, and
I'm
she
giving birth here. Get this out of me now.
right." Well, what most people don't realize is the military does not believe in pain medicine at all. And I mean, even whenever I went over to when they finally flew me off to the Independence, I was sitting there, and she and that doctor comes in and says, "Well, we're going to have to cut you open." And I'm looking around. There were no needles, no nothing. And so I'm going, okay, how is it possible that they're not going to use any pain medicine? Luckily, I passed them there.
Right.
And then I come back to the ship. And I think you'll remember this more than anybody else, because the captain calls me up. I mean, as soon as we land, the captain's like, "Come up to the bridge." So I went up to the bridge, and he's like, "You want to tell me what's going on?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Have you looked at number 3 M frame?" And I was like, I was like, "What?" I said, "What about number 3 M frame?" So literally,
Oh,
on our ship, everybody, y'all need to understand, our ships were, it had 3 M frames in the front, 2 in the back, and they look like M's. And they're frames, and they hold our rigs, all of our wires, our refueling rig. And he says, "Who wrote FTN? Blank the Navy." I was like, "I have no idea. I wasn't on the ship. I was on Independence passing kidney stones." I mean, it's like they didn't even care. They're like, get back on that helicopter, get back over there. Oh, I fly back over with him. Him and that admiral were like, who did that? Or I was like, I have no idea. But come to find out, it was one of our shipmates that did it. And what were you, a brand new petty officer, right?
Yeah, I just made BM3.
Yep, and I made you tend that line over the side.
Yes, you did. And I did. And we got her done.
Yeah, we got it
You know,
done.
to this day, I cannot understand what possessed that individual to write FTN in the brightest green freaking primer you could find.
I don't know. And the funny part is like I wasn't even on the freaking ship. I was
Right?
like off of it, and then I'm getting my ass chewed.
You got your ass chewed, and I was getting my arm drilled, black and blue and purple. Everybody's, hey, congratulations, thwap. Oh, dear Lord.
Now get up there
I'm
and
walking
tend that
around with,
line.
yeah,
And
I'm walking around with a numb arm trying to tend that line up there. I was like, I can't feel it. And then I was so mad at him for doing it. I'm like, hell with him. If he falls, he falls.
right.
Oh,
And what most people don't know is when we talk about tending the line, we make them put harnesses on, and you got the ball climber, and you're going up the M frame, and you got this thing you got to click all the way up to it, and then your line, you got a safety line harness, and then sometimes they made you wear a life jacket. I couldn't understand that, but
well,
and
that
then
was if it was, underway and we were going out toward
yeah,
what in the port or starboard side of the M frame. They made us do that.
and we would drop your ass over the side of the ship on a boatswain chair. It's a just rope with wood
Yeah.
and everything. Well,
Whee!
them were some good times. Yeah,
Yeah,
and so when me and you were, I mean, we all hung out together. What we've been to the Philippines, we've been to Japan, we've been Bali, Australia. I didn't get to stay
yeah,
much in Australia because I had to take a flight back
yeah,
out of Darwin. Um,
yeah.
but we spent most of our time in the Middle East. I mean, I know you came on during Southern Watch,
Yep.
and tell me what was it like for you when you first saw it going into the Persian Gulf? What was it like for you?
Well, being 18 years old from the Pacific Northwest, it was a real eye opener. I was coming from where the woods meet the ocean to this hot, just desolate place, and it smelled. When we cruised in there, brother, I got to tell you, it honestly smelled like death.
Yeah,
It did. We were remember, and you could tell when we hit the breakwater, the Gulf of Oman, when we hit there, it just smelled like death.
and I remember it being like a sheet of smoke when we went through
Oh
there.
man. You could see, well, it's almost like when we were sailing that way, you could almost see it as we were sailing into it. This wall of just uh, smoke and just it just did. It smelled. I don't know how to describe it other than just death.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a good way of describing it. I would have never thought about it like that. But if you think about it, I mean, all the oil rigs were still on fire,
Yep.
and then we pulled into Bahrain and all that stuff, and everybody makes fun of me for saying Bahrain. They go Bahrain, but you know,
Bahrain. What was the name of that other port we hit? Jabal Ali or whatever it was.
Jabal Ali, man, oh my gosh,
Jabal Ali. I kept saying Jabba the Hutt.
yeah.
Whatever.
That
Oh
was a working port, especially
boy.
see people that like on destroyers and people on the Marines on amphibious task force. I felt bad for them guys when we had to send cargo. When our
Yeah.
ships, our ship, it's a supply, and it's no different than an oiler is considered a supply ship, an ammo ship is considered a supply ship, but an AFS carries everything.
We were a floating Safeway, man.
We were definitely a floating Safeway, all the way from JP5 jet fuel, all the way to Coca Cola, to cigarettes, and to brown lettuce. Oh, that stuff was nasty.
We made Walmart look terrible.
Yeah. And
We got it. Hang on.
yeah, and what's funny is when the ship would put up sidelong of us, we would shoot what's called, the shot line, and you'd
Yeah.
have one guy tending it, and then you had about 8 people on your crew, and my crew consisted of Stillwell Vetch. It consisted of all these guys that you everybody has their own role. And I want to, if Vetch or Stillwell ever listen to this, I want to give them a shout out. To me, they made my career in the Navy. They really did. And
You damn straight they did.
they did. Them guys knew
Yeah,
it. They
brother.
Yeah. But when we're out there and we shoot all these shot lines over, they're pulling all of our wires over, our ship hooks up, and then we're sending cargo back and forth for hours. And then you're done with that ship, you're next to another one pulls up. It's just like you going from Target to Walmart, back Target, back to Walmart. That's just kind of how it worked. But what a lot of people don't realize is that your rig captain takes control of a ship. And that was my primary job while you were into winch operating. So, where everybody sits there and it's just whoever has the biggest mouth that actually put as a rig captain, and that happened to be me.
Hell you say? Oh,
yeah, that's right. But I could tell everybody out there, the Navy was probably the best thing I could have done for my life. It really was. The Navy was. I mean, all the injections and everything that they made us take out there. I wish I would have thought twice, but we didn't know any better. And
no, shut up and embrace the suck.
Right, exactly. And then, but as far as the nerve pain goes, matter of fact, I just got back yesterday. I know I didn't get to tell you this. I got back yesterday from the VA, and they're telling me that, I only have a few more upgrades that they can do before they decide if they want to amputate my right foot.
Oh, Jesus.
That ain't never going to happen. I'm telling you that right now. Ain't nobody cutting off my feet. But that's what they're literally saying to the vets, the VA. The VA's telling the vets, and, there's alternative things that they can do, but they're just choosing not to do it. So now that's what I'm fighting now.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this program.
Exactly.
I'm fed up with it,
Yeah.
We served 4 years. We pretty much were 4 years of war. Our ship was, we went to the volcano in the Philippines. And for some reason, didn't our ship always break down?
Oh man. I couldn't believe that. Remember, what was that captain's name? Not Captain, the last one.
It was Gimmel.
Yeah. That crazy dude walking around the flight deck in his PJs. Talking to him damn self. But, yeah, dude, that was a trip. We was on duty, right? We'd have road patrol, and we'd catch him on the flight deck talking to his damn self in his PJs. Remember Merlin writing that comic?
Oh yes.
In the day, yeah. Oh, that was so hilarious. Rat guards are just plain silly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
man.
I think. What was your most memorable time? I mean, I could guess what it is, but I know you're going to say it. But go ahead.
Honestly, my most memorable time with the whole crew has got to be it was my birthday, and we hit PI, and oh dear Lord, I never got so messed up so fast in my entire life. Not knowing where you were, just know, okay, I'm in a foreign country. You don't know where you are. You remember who you were with vaguely.
Vaguely. Very vaguely.
Man. And then you wake up, it's like, okay, where am I? How do I get out of here?
I think for me,
we had some great times though, man. And that was a good time, but probably the best time I think for all of us, probably is after that deployment when we got back, and then we had that earthquake.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that earthquake.
How could you forget the 8.6 earthquake?
I was loading up. Uh,
Man,
I was loading up the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders bleachers to put on the ship, and
yeah,
the ground started shaking. I'm like, "What the heck is that?" And the guy, the guy says, "Run!" Well, you can't run on
dude,
moving ground.
dude, we were down in the berthing when that hit. And the ship, it's like somebody, we were, of course, more to the dock, but it was like somebody put that thing on all ahead flank and just no balls out, go. Boom, 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 boom. It just started banging. We're like, what the hell? We run up on deck in our skivvies, and boots. What the hell's going on? And those mooring lines, man, they were smoking.
Yeah, I think
We
some
were
snapped,
stretching
right?
out. We were surging. So we surged so bad against that. Dock looked like a freaking slinky. It was like up, down. The telephone poles were going back and forth. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh my
And the
gosh,
officer of the deck, I think it was, oh man, who was it? God, I can't remember his name.
Jones.
Officer. Yeah. It was. Yeah, Lieutenant Jones. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, we're like, holy crap, then the mooring lines are starting to smoke, because we're tensioning up and surging so bad against the dock. He's like, boats come out, grab the damn axe. So we grab axes and we're like standing by the mooring lines in case, they go. He was going to have us cut them. It
Oh,
was crazy.
now to me, I tell you, if I had to admire really anybody, boatswain would be my most admired person on our ship. That
How can
man
you not?
knew everything, and you did not want to piss that man off.
No, you did. Oh, you
Woo!
kidding me? He gave you that. You got that mom look.
Oh yeah,
No, you don't want the boats look.
no, no,
No,
no,
you didn't
no.
want that man because that was like laser beams will kill you in half. They will cut you in half. Right now, he'd be like, "What? Oh crap!"
I I think my most memorable was probably the milk barge. So we take along this. The captain wanted milk. Our ship ran out, so they got this milk barge. I don't know if they were going to pump it on. I don't know how they were going to do it. So the night before, every night before we would swing out any booms or run winches or anything, we would have what's called a little powwow about how we're going to do it. And now this was Cap Measton, because Cap Measton was like, "Hey, is there?" No, it wasn't. It was Captain Gimmel. That's right. It was Captain Gimmel,
Yeah, it was Captain Gimmel.
because he was
Yeah,
like, "Simon, can y'all take this up front?" And I was like, "No, I'm. There's no way." Chief was like, "Chief David, no," and we're
yeah.
telling him no. You got 15, 20-foot swells, and they want to bring a milk barge
Yeah.
next to us.
Let's look. Yeah, not happening, dude.
So second division called me a wimp and said, "Well, we'll go ahead and do it." And I said, "Well, that's fine. We got to do the anchor anyway." So we get up on the anchor the next morning, and here comes that milk barge. Boatswain comes walking up. Boatswain's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "What are you doing up here?" He's like, "I ain't gonna be back there."
I ain't doing it.
And then you're bringing along a sign, and all of a sudden you hear 7 pounding. I mean, it sounded like somebody taking a
Oh,
sledgehammer and just pounding metal. Well, we
and
put
then
seven
the
holes.
screeching.
Yes,
Oh man.
we put 7 holes in the side of the ship, and all you could hear is, "What the hell are y'all doing back there? Boatswain, get up here!" And Boatswain had to go up there. I had to go up there, and we look on. We're like, "Uh oh, yeah, this ain't good." Yeah, that was my most memorable time, because that was the funniest thing having. And no offense to anybody from Second Division on San Jose listening to this, it's just First Division was better.
First division. Oh, oh, sorry.
And then I think to me another fun time was when we were all in the food court in
Oh man.
cafeteria, and all of a sudden door opens up and somebody's like, "Hey, number 3 tensioners, the high line is tensioning," and we're like, "What?" We go out there and we're looking. All of a sudden, that ram just snapped and
Right.
flew off
Oh, dude. Yeah.
because of that electricity. He
Yeah.
unmarked the other one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
And then
Oh, crap.
right, where'd you go to boot camp?
San Diego.
Were you one of the last graduating classes out of there?
No, they shut it down a few years after that.
Okay, was it a few years
I
after
was,
that? That's where I
I
went.
was, I was 91, company 197, Division 4.
Okay. Well, I remember. I don't know. Like when we landed in the airport, we had 2 company commanders. I don't know if that's how y'all did it.
Oh yeah, yeah, we had two. I think every division had two.
Man, them guys walked up, shook your hand, was like, "Hey, really nice to see you. Welcome to the Navy." I'm thinking, man, this is gonna be easy. And then you pull through the gates and split personality kicks in. They start telling us our mamas don't love us. And I, I had to call home and ask my mama if she loved me. I was crying. I was like, "Mama."
He told me you didn't love me.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's where I went, San Diego. Off 32nd Street. I was really I was glad I went there over Great Lakes. It was a lot better weather.
Right?
And then I remember your mom coming out.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. 92, Christmas in 92. We just got back off of deployment.
Right.
And mom decided she's going to fly out to Guam and spend Christmas with me, which was really, really awesome. I got to tell you.
Yeah. She's very nice. Very nice.
She got a heart of gold, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I tell you what, there's some things a guy never forgets. And, of course, mom's probably number one on the list.
And her cooking.
But the little things like that she's done, for me throughout my life, it's kind of awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think you
She's
probably got
pretty
a letter
cool.
from her every week or a care package.
Oh
I got,
yeah,
and that's the other thing is like I think that was one of the most important things sailors. I'm sure the Marines, Army, and Air Force, all of them overseas is when they get letters from family
oh
members,
yeah,
from friends, and what our ship did is we took on extra mail from anywhere. I mean, I must have read 1,000 letters and wrote back 1,000
yeah,
letters at that time.
yeah.
And there was one.
Amazing.
I wish I could remember her name, but she was probably about 6 years old, and she drew a picture. I still have that. One day
Do you really?
I'm gonna post that one day.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
yeah, and I think she wrote 3 or 4 times and everything, and you know, I'll have to post that one day. That was so nice, and
Right.
that's what they got a lot of programs out there, even like churches. You got churches, you got military family members that will post online where you can send care packages to military people, letters, and
Right.
believe it or
Absolutely.
not, to me that was one of the most moving things is to be able to see people send letters,
Of
especially
support. Yeah.
right because we weren't just out there for like 1, 2, 3 months. We were out for a long time.
We
And
did. We did a tour, and then we had to cover our sister ship because we couldn't get relieved by our sister ship because they had broke down. They had issues, so we had to do half of their deployment.
right, yeah,
So we were
they
out
went
there
through
the
a
whole
typhoon.
time. It was like, really?
And and what was your favorite port?
Honestly, my favorite port was Bali.
That's mine.
Oh man, how
That
can you not love that beautiful place?
that was, and we went
Beautiful.
down to that. I think it was called the Peanuts Club. And man, that was the people there were just fantastic.
Oh man, The best paid. There was people from. You remember when we went to Perth, right?
Right.
Okay, right after we hit Darwin, right?
And then Perth. And then I
Yeah.
flew out.
Okay, when we were in Bali, you remember those two blondes that we were talking to? And I got their number.
Okay.
I was gonna
You
write
talking
them and
about the
stuff.
ones that came on board?
No. I'm talking about the ones. Well, yeah, they came on board,
Right.
but these are the ones that I met in Bali on the beach. They were from Perth, and I called them when we got there. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, we just hit the dock down here." And they're like, "No way."
Yeah,
That was wild.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I thought Bali was probably the nicest place. Darwin was pretty cool, but I think Bali overall was the prettiest place.
Oh man, are you kidding me? Who wouldn't want to go there?
Right. I know.
Oh no, I mean for everybody listening, no, it's terrible. Don't ever go there. Just
Yeah.
stay away from Bali. Yeah. Oh,
Don't be
right.
telling people
No.
that Bali's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, when we were over there, not just Bali, but almost every port, you'd run in different navies and stuff like that. But I think I remember, I think I think this was really cool was when we pulled into Jabal Ali, and they made me stand watch out at the front gate. And there was a guy from Belgium, a guy from Russia. There was, from all different countries. And I didn't understand a word they said, except for the European guy. I understood the European guy.
That's the way we were doing that joint readiness exercise.
Yeah. And I had to go out there and stand watch with them guys. And man, it was really neat. Like we all sat around and then, they talked. I just sat there. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
You remember me meeting my cousin over there?
Yes, I remember that.
We were doing boarding exercises. Remember?
Yes. Yeah.
And the Royal Navy come over. They boarded us, and they were getting back on the ACOM ladder to go over the side. And the guy stops and he looks at my name tag, and I look at his name tag, and he's like, "Hey!" He goes, "No way!" And he goes, "Hey, we're pulling in." He goes, "Meet me at the damn center there, at the the big the big party center there where they had the tent city thing." Oh, sure enough, we run into him. I ran into him. I could not buy a drink all night long.
Yeah, I remember. Well, them guys on them, European ships, I think they have a whole freaking bar on them.
Yeah.
I don't know why Navy didn't do that for us.
No,
I do remember. I boarded one of their ships, and they took us, just around to look. They didn't give me a drink, which I thought that was really rude. But you got to tour their ship and talk about totally different than ours. It's like, wow, man, them guys had it made. We slept with 99 different people in a barrack.
Yeah,
like stinky people.
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah, but I know. But okay, so okay, so
Lord. Oh,
now, so when I remember we were refueling with the European during Southern Watch, and that's when that helicopter pilot was doing circles. You remember that?
Yeah.
This guy was literally doing circles in a helicopter all the way around our ship.
Crazy.
That dude was crazy.
Man.
So we look over and we notice that one of the wedding bands on the refueling rig on JP5 was leaking. So we had an emergency brake. We brought it back in.
Yep, leaked like a sieve, man.
And then that's right. When we lowered it down, and our jobs they were really dangerous. So when we started lowering it down, we decided, well, one second class decided he was going to unscrew what's called wedding band.
Yeah.
Well, when he unscrewed it, it's like an explosion without fire, and jet fuel went everywhere. We had a vat that we were pouring it in, and three of us fell into the back end of that. Me,
Yep.
me, Tim, and I don't know who the other one was.
One that Hoorod.
Maybe it was Rod. And
I
I
think it was
mean,
Hoorod.
you talk about burn dust. Woo!
Oh, dude.
And I remember going to Doc and she putting that cream and putting
Yep.
bandages around us and burned my eyes,
Yep.
my feet real
Yep.
bad. Had to throw all my clothes away.
Oh yeah, they were gone.
And
We
my,
had we had to scrub down the whole place,
right, right.
decon the whole place.
Oh,
That was after we got through with firefighting, breaking from firefighting drills because we had JP5 all over the ship.
yes, that's right. Oh,
It's like y'all better put that damn cigarette out like now.
yeah, because it was right by the smoking area.
Right? It's like, dude.
Yeah,
Geez.
and so you know, I remember taking a big old gasp of JP5 jet fuel in me.
Yeah.
I remember being in medical for that for a while. But
man,
if it was going to happen to anybody, it was going to happen to me. I mean,
imagine, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Hey, bro, I got it real quick while I'm thinking about it before I forget. I have a brain fart and I'll forget. I got to give a shout out. I don't know her married name now. She made Admiral.
oh
She
yes,
served with us on board the USS San Jose. At the time, her name was Ensign Gonzalez.
Ensign Gonzalez, you're absolutely correct.
I'm so apologetic. I can't remember her married name that is now, and she just made Rear Admiral. I'm freaking proud of her. Go girl. You rock.
I remember she started out with us as an ensign.
Yeah. She was in when we did firefighting drills up there in the forward area, she was our officer in charge.
Yeah. I was in DC control. I hated that job.
Well, you were the one. Remember, I was the investigator. Me and what was that other guy's name? Jesus.
Well, we only had 400 and something people on our ship.
Yeah, just a couple. Anyway, yeah, me and the other guy, we was the two investigators. We'd go out and look for stuff and go report back. And yeah, she ran a tight unit though.
Right. Now, okay, now we're going to get into a really good topic. Wog Day. Make your shell back. Did you go Did you go through the first one or did you go through the second one?
I went through the first one.
So did I. That was
No. You were already a shellback when I crossed.
Okay.
You guys had already gone to deployment and back before I got on.
Right.
You guys were already had your ass whoopings done and back, and I got to go the next deployment.
Right.
The very next deployment, we hauled ass, and then we dropped your frickin' trow and get that ass whooped, boy.
And then that's what they do. So I'm going to describe it for everybody. So what it is you start in the forward part of the ship, and it starts about midnight at night, and you're scared to death because you got a whole bunch of shellbacks with about 18-inch fire hose that whoop your ass. And I mean, they whoop your ass. And what
get detailed, brother. Get detailed.
I'm going into detail because I think a lot of people should know exactly what the wogs go through to make a shellback. It's a big traditional honor, meeting King Neptune. And so in the beginning, they take a fire hose and they open that fire hose up and they're squirting you down. Your clothes are on backwards, you're on your hands and knees, and they squirt you for about 30 minutes to an hour. And then they tell you start crawling and they're screaming at you. You got Tabasco sauce in your hair, down the crack of your ass. And these guys are literally beating the hell out of you with fire hoses. And you're walking. And my problem is I was on board 2 years by the time we did it. So everybody got to know me and I played way too many jokes. And Stillwell and made me, they'd walk up in what they were called shillelaghs. That's the name of the fire hose. Well, they make you buy the shillelagh and they take you all the way back to, and you start all over getting your ass whooped. Then they make you, like they did me, stick your head out of a bullhorn and start screaming for flipper while they're beating you. Well, once you can finally make it to the back part of the ship, the aft part of the ship, you go up to the flight deck. They have this little, what would you call it, a maze?
Yeah, like a
Uh,
like a
like,
maid kind
yeah,
of,
yeah, a maze of toilet bowls
kind of
and
like an obstacle course type thing.
that's it, an optical course. That's what I was
Yeah.
looking for. And so in the crappers, which I'll say it politely, they peed and pooped in them and poured tomato juice that they saved for months and raw food for days. They make you buy for like apples or onions or tomatoes, knowing that they peed or pooped in them. And then as you walk around, they're still beating you. You got to jump over this thing into another, like a little vat of nasty, disgusting food while they're beating you. Then you, very end, you're going up to, what do they call the very last person?
The royal
The
baby.
royal baby. And they would dress this person up like a baby. There's the biggest, fattest guy on the ship, and they stick an olive in his belly button with
You didn't
grease all over it.
Yep, Crisco.
And you had to dig it out with your mouth. And then you were finally done. I remember being black and blue from my neck down to my
Oh,
heels. And I mean, I had to tell that story. That was not a very memorable time getting your ass whooped. But
yes, it was
it was
memorable.
fun. It was fun. I still got my card. So I am shield back. And then I think it's lighter now. I don't think they're allowed to do it these days as much.
Oh, you know they. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. We won't get into this new
Nah,
generation stuff, you
nah.
know. But, and all this is going on while we're heading back out to the Persian Gulf, back out there, back to the smoke and the oil rigs. And, I had quite a lot of emails, and I'm going to get your perspective before I tell you what I think mine would be, my perspective. What do you think is causing a lot of these sailors' nerve pains and digestive system problems?
Honestly, what else could you attribute it to?
I think the oil
Seriously,
rigs.
what else could we attribute it to? We, we don't. I don't think any of us lead. Like what the ratio would be for say drug abuse. Avid drug abuse or something like that, compared to just persons leading average lives. How to compare it to that, but uh, what else? I don't know how else to describe being over there and breathing that crap, knowing that there was the potential of said chemical nerve agent, and then you come home and time goes by and you're like, okay, well, this isn't right. You start falling apart, and you're trying to figure out
Yeah.
what the hell,
Yeah.
and like I said, I'm not a doctor, I got a DD 214, I. Don't have a PhD,
Right. And that's right. And I mean, most of the
it's just my
doctors,
best guess. I mean, come on, man, think about it.
right.
You're breathing toxic fumes 24/7 for months on end.
And then all the
Yeah.
injections we got,
Oh, geez.
the pills, everything. I mean, I think it's to me, it's a combination of everything.
You
And
know,
it,
yeah.
I mean,
Who knows?
okay, your kids were in high school, correct?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Got two out, two in.
right. But they went through high school.
Yeah.
My kids barely learned about Desert Storm.
Really?
And and I live in Texas, and I'm very agitated that our kids don't, they spend 3 days on it, and
That it? Are you
that's
serious?
it. And
Wow.
I don't know about y'all's kids up there, how many days they spend on Desert Storm.
Well, fortunately, in our school district that we have here in the Pacific Northwest that I'm in, there's a couple of veterans that are teachers, and they specifically dwell on certain aspects of Desert Storm
Right.
for reasons because they were there.
Yeah, that's what we need. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now my daughter, I got her. She when she was in class, she sent me a text message, and she could not believe the guy that was teaching was talking about Desert Storm and all the chemicals and all the nerve problems people were having because he knew somebody.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's just it. I talk to a lot of veterans. I mean, almost every day. I mean, that
Yeah.
because what I do for a living, I cut hair,
Right.
and so yeah, and I talk to a lot of veterans, and I understand that World War I was a big chemical war. World War II was, I mean,
Yeah.
was
That was
another
like the
chemical
test
war.
phase of
Vietnam,
even using that stuff.
right, and
That the mentality of that's when it like first started, I think.
right, and we had to wear our mark gear on our sides, and you're carrying it
Oh.
around, but when our chemical alarms went off and they tell you, it could be a malfunction. I'm like, in the same
Yeah.
spot 3 times. I was like, hey,
Malfunction, huh?
something's wrong. And I, that's just what got me agitated. And so whenever I did my last test, and the doctor was like, look, most likely it's caused by Desert Storm. I mean, when you walk into the VA and you tell them you got nerve problems, digestive problems, you got certain type of cancer, and all this, the first thing they say is, were you in Desert Storm or Vietnam? And that's sad. And then they just, here, take these pills,
Yeah.
let's see if it gets better.
Right.
Instead of looking at, okay, let's see what medicines were out there that
Right.
they used. And, we took nerve agent medicines. So, I mean, let's
Like,
tell me what
really?
the side effects are.
Yeah.
And
But what as you're twitching, what side effects are you talking about? Oh, whatever do
right,
you mean?
right,
Go.
exactly. And
The sad part is, bro. The sad part is, and I'm consider myself fine, there. But the sad part is there's a lot of brothers and sisters that are out there right now. They're way worse off.
that's right.
I mean, have crap going on with them that they don't even understand what the hell's happening to them.
Yep, I met a guy up at the VA downtown Houston, and he was sitting next to me, and he was in Desert Storm, and I mean, it. I I couldn't even imagine. I don't even know what the guy had. They couldn't even tell him what he had. But I mean, he couldn't walk. His arms were, I mean, basically just his arms were just like skin. I
Yeah.
mean, and bone.
Bone.
There
It
were
was like,
no
yeah, it was like a
muscle.
zombie.
And it's like, now, explain that to me. That stuff just doesn't happen because of old age. I mean,
No.
don't get me wrong. My eyesight isn't what it used to be, and
Huh? What? Oh,
yeah, that's right. My,
yeah.
my hearing isn't what it used to be. But I damn near
Yeah.
tell you, when I was in, and they were sending me down to the hospitals. I went to hospital in the Philippines, went to hospital in Guam, because they
Yeah.
could not figure out what the hell was going on with the bleeding.
Yeah.
They just couldn't understand it. And I'm like, well,
No.
shit. What do y'all
Yeah.
think?
It-
They pat you on the back. Oh, you got GERD.
yeah. What What do you do? Well, I'll tell you what you do when you come back to the ship.
Right.
We
And,
don't know what's going on, but you know what? All right. Well, let's go have a beer and talk about it.
right. And
Oh.
the thing about it
Let's
is
go have a lot of beer and talk about it.
think about the guys, the younger generation that fought in Iraqi freedom.
Yeah.
They're finding out that all the water bottles were toxic
Yep.
that they drank out there because they've been left out there for years. It's
Yep.
like put me in charge of the VA. That's what the heck I would like. I would love to be in charge of the VA. A lot
Right.
of things would freaking change. A lot of
Yeah.
things would. And you know what? And I think I got good doctors, but I think they're limited.
I think they are.
I think they're limited on funding. I think they're limited on what they can do. I mean, we got researchers out there trying to figure out, okay, we're going to research go for illness, this, digestive nerves, this, and this. But no, but the participation isn't there.
Right.
Because a lot of vets are giving up. I mean, the suicide rate, what is 20 to 30 a day?
It's God knows what it is now.
Right. And
with everything else added into the mix now, God knows what it is now. It's crazy.
Right. The homeless rate. You go down to Austin, I'll bet you 60% of them are probably veterans. And
oh man, dude.
It's like, okay, we're now becoming having
it blows your mind yet, and I'm sorry, and I'm gonna say it. Don't let the border should be shut.
Right. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of vets out there that need that money for help. And I will stress this every time I'm on the air. Every time I'm on the air. When you get out of the military, the first thing you should go do, especially if you've been in any combat or any of the zones out there that, could be toxic, you need to go to a counselor. That's
please.
And you know what I'm talking about. Your mom sent you down here.
Please go talk about stuff. Go talk to somebody.
Right, because I remember your mom calling me at the house when I first got out, and she's like, "I'm sending my son to you. You need to talk to him."
Oh man.
And I remember that. I mean, because
dude.
They don't prepare you for what's coming down the road. And I mean, even whenever I got out, when I went down to the VA, they automatically sent me to the VA. They wanted me to sign a document, which I still have. They wanted me to sign a document that says I was never exposed to chemical warfare. And I told them, "You're on crack."
Yeah, buddy.
I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like,
you think I'm going to sign that?
Right. I mean, when you're out at sea and you go right next to an oil rig that's on fire, there's chemicals right there. I mean, that's the thing. I think that I think, my time in the military was memorable. And I know my wife's going to hear me say this and probably get mad, but I will say the best 4 years of my life was the military. The camaraderie, you can't beat it. You can't.
No.
It's a brotherhood. I mean, the Marines, Army, all them, every service.
It's family.
It is. I mean, you rely on these guys to keep you happy, to watch your back, and especially the jobs we did was not safe.
No.
I mean, we've had in and out haul lines, snap, come back, whack the ship. I mean, they'll cut you in half.
They cut the steel hull like butter knife.
They sure do. I mean, if anybody's never seen a moor line snap, it's very interesting to watch one because they start smoking and they'll cut you in half.
I'm a longshoreman now up here, and we load cargo ships and unload cargo ships. That's what I do for a living. And I just a couple of years back had a cousin of mine, young cousin, die. He was doing a line's job, and one of the lines parted on the ship and hit him in the head and killed him.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, young kid.
I remember. I know you weren't on at this time because I just maybe you were because we were being towed back to Guam, and for everybody out there, when you go dead in the water, the only thing you got to eat is cold cuts. That's it. And we're going to get to the MREs in a second, but I'm going to tell this story. So
no, hang on now. Is this right out of Guam?
Yes.
The seagoing tug from hell.
Yes, the seagoing tug for hell. The guy that came on
that we had to wait a day for.
Yes, we had to wait a complete day. We all slept outside, and so this guy comes on board the ship, and we're taking 10-inch lines, connecting it on, what bosun mates do to the anchor chain, and this guy comes on, and it kind of reminds you of boatswain, but not nearly as scary.
Right.
So he's like, I need a petty officer to tend this line going out around the winch. So of course I got volunteered.
Simon. Oh, well, yeah.
And so
Guess who was right there too?
right.
I'm going, you're going.
Yeah. So I'm tending, I'm the only one on the line at this time, and I'm going around and I'm like, hey, it's stuck. There's a knot. How a knot got in a 10-inch line till this day, I cannot understand it.
Right.
He goes, I'll just flip it once. And I'm thinking to myself, you got an anchor chain that each length 75 pounds.
Yeah.
All this weight. I weigh like at that time I probably weighed $125. And I'm like, okay, one flip ain't bad. So I flipped it once. He goes, well, flip it one more time. I was like, no. He goes, come on, it'd be easy. So he takes the line, wraps around the bits, and he flips it where that knot got caught. And that line just took off.
Oh, man.
Now. That's right. All I remember is that knot coming around and catching me up underneath the groin and sending me flying back to the gun tubs.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember the captain, everybody was laughing except for probably me and the captain. And this was Captain Easton.
I wasn't laughing. I see where that hit you. I was not laughing.
And Captain Easton comes over. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. He's like, somebody go get Doc. Now, y'all got to understand, I'm a 20-year-old guy, and we have this female doctor coming up, and she was probably the best doctor you can have on board a ship.
Right.
And she's like, well, what happened? I told her. So she starts cutting my dungarees off, which are jeans, to people that don't know. And how I have kids today, I have no idea. It was the size of a softball, if not a bowling ball. And she goes, oh, that looks like that's going to hurt. What do you mean you think it's going to freak? I remember they packed me in ice. That was embarrassing. I was like, oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
And I know your favorite part of the story. Go ahead and talk about the MREs and the lifeboats.
Oh, God. Well, I remember that life raft. We get to taking this life raft apart to do inventory on it and inspect it. And apparently this one had been missed a few times or rotated so it didn't have to be gone through or something. Anyway, we get in there and we find the rations and all the supplies that are in the kit. And there's this carton of cigarettes, Lucky Strike non-filters. And they were from World War II. All these rations were from World War II. Going, well, okay, this is awesome. Check this stuff out. So, and there comes Boats. Hey, Boats, yeah. He goes, yeah. Can we smoke these? He's like, yeah. So we start, we all divvy them up like we did. Pass them out. We all start smoking these cigarettes. Well, yeah, of course, they're going to make you a little raspy. So what was it? It was you and me that was walking back after that.
Yeah.
Boats is like, hey, did you get that life raft done? And I turned around and went, yeah, Boats, we got her done. Oh, my God. I've got as big as freaking houses. He got right in my face. He was like, are you mocking me? I'm like, I was like shaking like a freaking leaf on a tree, dude. I mean, oh, dear God. There's that look. Right through the soul. Oh, man. I'm like, I reached up in my pocket and I grabbed that cigarette pack out and I went, no, Boats, you let us smoke these, remember? And he's like, oh, all right. Like, oh, God.
I'll tell you what, Boats, he was mad, that guy.
Oh, dear God.
When I got out of the service, I'll tell you, the last one I talked to from our ship that in person was Boats. And
no kidding.
He thanked me for everything. And, he wasn't very happy I was getting out, but
no,
he was like, that man right there, I give that man a lot of credit. How he put up with all of us, I have no idea.
Well, he said he was like, you did damn kids.
He did, man. I tell you, Boats was awesome.
Boats and the Master Chief.
Yeah, Master Chief. I like the Master Chief.
Dude, he was always taking care. over there in the Philippines, especially, man, he'd go poke his head in there and look and see who was in what bar and doing what. And
The only thing I didn't like about Master Chief is he taught me 2 more. He's like, "Come on, Simon, 2 more years on the San Jose. You already know everybody." I was like, "Okay, no problem."
Sure.
And I tell you, I know y'all were kind of going back and forth on stuff, but it's kind of stuff y'all got to remember. This is 30 years of memory going through here. But what was your worst time
Oh God.
that you can talk about?
Probably my worst time probably was probably out there, Australia.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have to go in detail. I know all
No,
about that.
we won't go there.
Yeah.
Probably that time. You know.
I think mine is, and I don't think I've ever told anybody in my family ever this, but mine was I was on the helm.
Yeah.
And I remember at that time it was Ensign Jones.
Yeah.
And he was like, he goes, Simon, he goes, what is that dead ahead? And it was a fishing vessel. And
Yeah.
and we just declared war. I mean, I remember, I think it was like January the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. And the captain, Gimmel, was sitting in the captain's chair. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, I don't see a ship, any boats out here, any fishing vessels. And you can see their little mast.
Yeah.
And we hit that sucker. And
Damn, dude.
and he said, all ahead full. And oh my gosh, man.
Damn.
It was that's something I think I'll have to live with. I mean, I know you take orders, but man, somewhere down the line, you got to go with your gut, man. And we should have just did man overboard and go look for them people, but we just left them in snake and shark infested waters. I hated that. That was probably my worst time.
Yeah.
Everything, and there's I had a few other worst times, but not nearly as bad as that. And then but we'll go to a different subject. I don't want it to be sad.
Yeah.
Now, were you on my watch detail up on the bridge?
Yes, sir.
All right. Were you on the watch detail when we saw? Okay, everybody may think we're crazy, but the UFO.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this was Captain Easton, and he was. It's about 1:30. It was balls to 4 watch. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And I remember Captain Easton. We had to go wake him up because there was this light on port side, and it was Hanson. Hanson was calling it in, and it was going starboard.
Yep.
Combat couldn't pick it up.
Nope.
And
CIC had no contact at all.
At all.
And
Nothing came up on.
We had everybody on that watch had a visual on this thing.
Right. And so they go get the captain. Captain comes up by this time at starboard side. And this is an orange light I've never seen. It was huge.
Yeah.
And then it starts going back to port side. And you're just kind of like, what the heck? And the captain's like, call the Snoopy team away, which was guys that came out to verify what it is.
Yeah.
Snoopy team didn't even get to really make it up there because they couldn't figure it out neither. This thing comes at us, and all of a sudden shoots straight up into the sky. And I promise y'all, it disappeared. It was gone. And I mean, it just went in outer space. And I remember Captain Easton turning, and he looked dead at me. I don't want to talk about this ever again. He walked out the door. Well, every night I'd be like, hey, Captain, did you see that?
What?
Yeah.
No.
He told me shut up all the time.
Yeah.
But, we had good times and good friends. And I stay in contact with almost every single body that I was on board with, that I hung out with. We've had, I won't mention names, but we've had a few pass away, and you know, if their families are listening from the USS San Jose, you know, we all wish them prayers and we understand their loss because, you know, what they lost, we lost. You know, just because you're not in doesn't mean you're still not there
Yeah.
and everything. Uh, are we missing anything?
I don't know, brother.
I don't know neither. We'll have
It's
to
about.
reminisce again.
I'm popping my cherry on this podcast thing. I have no idea.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what, Conner, it was a pleasure talking to you. We'll stay in touch. We always do.
Awesome, man. I enjoyed being here and doing this with you, man. If anything else, just to bring awareness, you know,
Yes,
of the
yes.
stuff we're going through, you know.
And
Nobody's gonna talk about it. Nobody's gonna know. So
and that's right. And that's what I want most people to know. You know, there's vets out there who care.
yeah,
If you need to talk, we'll always be there for you. You
yep.
know, we'll lend an ear and a helping hand, whatever y'all need from us.
It's like we were taught, man. We got to take care of each other.
That's right.
We're all we got.
Yep, I agree. Well, give your family my love and you take good care of yourself, buddy.
You too, my brother.
Thanks for coming on.
Hey, anytime, man. Anytime.
All right, buddy.
All right.
See you later.
You bet. Have a good one.
You too. I want to thank everybody for listening. I wanted to do this segment so everybody can understand, you know, for us what it was like. I mean, there's a lot of stories that weren't told, and you know that aren't, I guess, to some aren't ready to be told. But I know a lot of y'all are wondering, okay, what is actually causing, you know, y'all's problems? You know, what caused your nerve problems? The VA can't give us an answer. I know there's treatments out there. I know there's a lot of things out there that, you know, I think they need to experiment with in trials. I mean, I'm going to bring more awareness about where, you know, vets can go for, you know, PTSD and, you know, and I got one I'm working with right now. She's having some issues and the VA's not helping her. And, you know, she lost her spouse and she's not sure what to do now. And she's a veteran herself. But for a lot of vets that don't know, your VSO is a really good place to start. Go talk to a veteran service officer. They'll help you out. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And please, if you have any questions, please go to my email at kevinsimon@goal4sideeffects.com. And also, you can email me there. I want to hear from other vets. I want to hear your stories. I want your voices to be heard. I thank you very much for listening.